Admiral James Walker stood at the window of Lunar Base Alpha, his weathered face reflecting off the reinforced glass as he watched Earth burn. The beautiful blue marble that had been humanity's cradle for millions of years now bore angry red wounds where the alien ships had struck. His fists clenched until his knuckles turned white. "Sir, another wave of enemy ships approaching Earth's atmosphere," reported Lieutenant Mark Brown, his voice shaking slightly. The young officer's eyes were fixed on the holographic display showing dozens of red dots moving toward Earth. Walker didn't turn away from the window. "Show me their attack pattern," he ordered, his voice steady despite the rage burning in his chest. The three-dimensional display shifted, revealing the alien vessel's formation. The ships belonged to the Stellar Dominion, the most powerful military force in the Galactic Council. Their vessels looked like massive arrowheads, their dark hulls gleaming with an otherworldly purple sheen. Energy weapons erupted from their ships, raining death upon Earth's cities. Earth's defensive systems fought back bravely. Missiles streaked upward from hidden silos, and orbital defense platforms fired their railguns. But the alien shields simply absorbed or deflected everything humanity threw at them. "Sir, we're receiving a broadcast from the enemy fleet," announced Communications Officer Lisa Grant. "Should I put it through?" Walker nodded grimly. A holographic image appeared in the center of the command center, showing a tall, imposing alien figure. The creature's gray skin and multiple eyes might have once seemed strange to Walker, but after 5 years of failed diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council, he'd grown used to their appearance. "People of Earth," the alien commander spoke in perfect English, its voice dripping with contempt. "The Galactic Council has deemed your species too dangerous to join galactic civilization. Your aggressive nature, your rapid military advancement, and your refusal to submit to Council authority have left us no choice. This is not a war. This is containment." Walker's response was short. "Go to hell." He signaled Officer Grant to cut the transmission. As the alien's image faded, Walker noticed something odd about their ship's shield patterns. Every time they fired their main weapons, there was a slight flicker in their defensive barriers. He'd seen something similar during weapons testing back on Earth, when they'd experimented with quantum frequency modulation. "Brown, focus our sensors on their shield harmonics during weapons discharge," Walker ordered. "Record everything." The next few hours were a nightmare. The Admiral watched helplessly as Earth's major cities were struck. London, Moscow, New York, Beijing. But with each strike, their sensors gathered more data about the enemy's technology. Then Walker saw something that gave him hope. As a Dominion ship fired on Tokyo, its shields displayed a clear pattern of energy fluctuation. He'd seen that vulnerability before in experimental technology. Their seemingly impenetrable defenses had a weakness, one that human scientists had already discovered in their own research. "Send all sensor data to Deep Base Zero," Walker commanded. "Priority Alpha. Add my personal note. Look for shield frequency patterns matching the quantum resonance experiments from Project Breakthrough." Deep Base Zero, hidden kilometers beneath the Rocky Mountains, was humanity's last resort command center. If the lunar base fell, Earth's resistance would be coordinated from there. As the attack continued, Walker received confirmation that Earth's leadership had successfully evacuated to underground bunkers. The emergency protocols they'd put in place after first contact with the Galactic Council were working. Humanity would survive. "Sir," Brown called out, his voice stronger now, determined. "We're detecting massive movements all across Earth. Our people are following the evacuation plans. Underground shelters are reporting successful lockdowns." Walker allowed himself a grim smile. The Stellar Dominion thought they knew humanity, thought they could predict their actions, but they'd made a crucial mistake. They assumed humanity's aggressive nature was a weakness, never considering it might be their greatest strength. "Send one last message to all Earth commands," Walker ordered. "Tell them, remember what we are. Remember our history. Every time humanity has faced extinction, we've come back stronger." This isn't the end. This is just the beginning of their nightmare. The Admiral turned back to the window, watching as more enemy ships descended toward Earth. Let them think they'd won. Let them think humanity was beaten. They would learn, too late, that they'd just awakened a sleeping giant. The real war hadn't even begun. 6 months after the attack, Deep Base Zero hummed with activity. Colonel Maria Thompson walked through the crowded corridors of the underground facility, her boots clicking against the metal floor. The base, carved into the Rocky Mountains, had become humanity's main command center since the surface went dark. "Status report," she ordered, entering the central command room. The large chamber was filled with screens showing various underground bases across the world, connected through quantum communication channels that the aliens couldn't detect. "Good news, Colonel," reported Tech Officer David Miller, looking up from his station. Dr. Nash's team made a breakthrough with the shield frequency data from Lunar Base Alpha. Thompson moved quickly to his station. The screens showed complex wave patterns that meant little to her, but Miller's excitement was clear in his voice. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a particular pattern. "Every time the alien ships fire their main weapons, their shields create a quantum resonance pattern. Dr. Nash says it's exactly like the problem we encountered in Project Breakthrough 3 years ago." Thompson remembered that project. The military had tried to develop quantum shields, but they kept failing because of frequency destabilization. They'd abandoned the research, focusing instead on different defense systems. Now that failure might be their salvation. "Get me Dr. Nash," she ordered. The main screen lit up, showing a tired-looking man in his 50s. Behind him, Thompson could see the massive research facility built deep beneath the old Denver airport. "Colonel," Dr. Robert Nash nodded. "I assume Officer Miller told you about our discovery." "He did. Give me the simple version, Doctor." Nash held up a small device. "This is a quantum frequency modulator. When the aliens fire their main weapons, their shields create a specific energy pattern. This device can match that pattern and reverse it, like noise-canceling headphones, but for energy shields." Thompson's eyes widened. "You're saying we can take down their shields?" "Better than that," Nash grinned. "We can make their shields collapse catastrophically. The energy backflow would destroy their ship's power systems." Before Thompson could respond, alarms blared through the base. Red lights flashed as Officer Miller shouted, "Incoming. Enemy ships detected in the upper atmosphere." "Location," Thompson demanded. "They're scanning the Rocky Mountain region. They must have detected something." Thompson quickly addressed Nash. "How long until your device is ready for deployment?" "We need 2 more weeks for testing." "You have 2 days." Thompson cut him off. "They're getting close to finding us." As Nash's image disappeared, Thompson turned to her command staff. "Status of the civilian bunkers in this region." "All sealed and running silent," reported Security Chief Amanda Foster. "The surface settlements are maintaining their cover stories. As far as the aliens can tell, they're just small farming communities." Thompson nodded. The survival strategy was working. While the aliens controlled the surface, humanity had gone underground, building vast complexes connected by high-speed tunnels. What looked like scattered villages above were actually disguised ventilation and supply points for the bunkers below. "New contact," Miller called out. "Single alien ship, descending toward Grid Section 7. Thompson checked the map. Grid 7 was 30 miles east, where they'd built one of their fake settlements. The residents there were trained for this. They'd act like simple farmers, hiding the truth of what lay beneath their feet. "Monitor all communications," she ordered. "If they detect anything unusual, we need to know immediately." The next hour was tense as they watched the alien ship scan the area. Finally, it rejoined its fleet and moved on. "They bought it," Foster sighed in relief. Thompson wasn't so relaxed. "They'll be back. They're not stupid. They know we're hiding somewhere." She turned to her staff. "Send word to all bases. Accelerate preparations. and get me a secure line to Admiral Walker on Lunar Base Alpha. As her officers carry out their orders, Thompson studied the map of underground bases spreading across the continents. The aliens thought they'd defeated humanity, driven them into hiding. They didn't understand that humans had turned their underground exile into an advantage, building an invisible network of bases, factories, and laboratories. Soon, very soon, they would learn just how dangerous a corner humanity could be. Captain Thomas Reed floated in zero gravity, staring through the viewport of his command ship, Defiant. Hidden in the dense asteroid field between Mars and Jupiter, hundreds of ships lay dormant, waiting for their moment. This was humanity's secret fleet, built over the last decade under the cover of mining operations. Status report on the fleet, Reed commanded, pushing himself back to the command chair and securing the harness. His second-in-command, Commander Alice Cooper, brought up a holographic display of their ships. All 200 vessels are ready, Captain. The crews we smuggled up from Earth over the last 6 months are in position. Engineering teams have finished installing Dr. Nash shield-breaking devices on all ships. Reed nodded, studying the display. The fleet was smaller than the Stellar Dominion's forces, but each ship was a masterpiece of human engineering. They'd built them in secret, preparing for the day Earth might face a cosmic threat. That day had come sooner than anyone expected. "Message incoming from Deep Base Zero," announced Communications Officer John Peters. Colonel Thompson's eyes only. Reed entered his security codes, and Thompson's face appeared on his private screen. She looked tired but determined. "Captain, we've detected increased enemy activity in the asteroid belt," she reported. "They're expanding their search patterns. We need to move the fleet soon, or we risk discovery." "The crews aren't fully trained on the new weapons yet," Reed argued. "They'll have to learn fast. Admiral Walker is sending the go-ahead signal. Operation Thunderbolt begins in 72 hours. Reed's heart raced. They'd planned this counterattack for months, but now that it was happening, the weight of responsibility felt enormous. "Understanding confirmed, Colonel. We'll be ready." After Thompson's image faded, Reed opened the fleet-wide channel. "All ships, this is Captain Reed. Battle stations. This is not a drill." The asteroid field came alive with activity. Ships that had been powered down to avoid detection hummed to life. Their designs were unlike anything the aliens had seen. Smaller than Dominion vessels, but packed with experimental technology that Earth's scientists had developed in secret. "Enemy patrol detected," Cooper called out. 3 Dominion ships entering the outer edge of the asteroid field. Reed smiled grimly. Perfect timing for a test run. "Signal the Raptor and Shadow. Let's show them what these ships can do." 2 human vessels quietly detached from their hiding spots. They were stealth ships, painted with light-absorbing materials and designed to run nearly silent. The Dominion ships passed nearby, their sensors sweeping the asteroids. "They haven't detected us," Peters reported. "Raptor and Shadow are in position." Reed keyed his command codes. "Execute attack pattern 0." The 2 human ships struck simultaneously. Dr. Nash devices activated, sending precisely tuned quantum pulses at the alien vessels. The effects were immediate and devastating. The Dominion ship's shields flared brilliant purple, then collapsed completely. Before they could recover, conventional weapons fire from the human vessels struck their now unprotected hulls. 3 direct hits, Cooper announced with satisfaction. "All enemy ships disabled." "Launch boarding teams," Reed ordered. "I want their computers stripped and their crews taken. No distress signals can reach their fleet." Within an hour, the operation was complete. The human fleet had captured 3 alien vessels without alerting the main Dominion forces. More importantly, they'd proven their new weapons worked perfectly. Reed opened the fleet channel again. "All ships, this is your captain. Today's success proves what we already knew. Humanity is ready to fight back. In 3 days, we launch our main offensive. Study the data from today's battle. Learn from it. Soon, we'll show the Galactic Council why they should have feared us all along." He closed the channel and turned to Cooper. "Send the captured ship data to Dr. Nash's team, and get me a secure line to Admiral Walker. It's time to coordinate the final details of Operation Thunderbolt." The fleet continued its preparations, still hidden among the asteroids. For now, the Stellar Dominion believed they'd conquered humanity. In 3 days, they would learn just how wrong they were. Operation Thunderbolt began at exactly 400 Earth Standard Time. Captain Reed watched from the Defiance Bridge as 200 human ships emerged from the asteroid belt in perfect formation. Their target, the Dominion's main forward base on Pluto. "All ships reporting ready," Commander Cooper announced. "Shield breaker devices are charged and synchronized." Reed took a deep breath. "Send the message to all ships. Remember Earth." The human fleet accelerated toward Pluto, using the stolen Dominion ship data to avoid their detection grids. On their long-range scanners, Reed could see the alien base, a massive structure built into Pluto's ice, surrounded by 30 Dominion warships. "Enemy still hasn't detected us," reported Officer Peters. "Their sensors are focused outward, expecting attacks from beyond the solar system." Reed allowed himself a small smile. The aliens' arrogance would be their downfall. They never thought to look for threats from the defeated humans. "Launch stealth drones," Reed ordered. Hundreds of small, unmanned vehicles shot forward from the human fleet. These were Dr. Nash's latest creation. Tiny vessels carrying miniaturized versions of the shield breaker device. "Drones in position," Cooper confirmed. 30 seconds until they're in range of the enemy fleet." Reed opened the fleet-wide channel. "All ships, prepare for combat. Fire on my mark." The seconds ticked by. The Dominion ships continued their regular patrol patterns, unaware of the approaching threat. Then suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. "They've spotted the drones," Peters shouted. "Execute now," Reed commanded. "All ships, fire shield breakers." The space around Pluto lit up as hundreds of quantum pulses struck the Dominion fleet simultaneously. The alien ship's shields flared brilliant purple, just like in the test run. But this time, the effect was massive. 30 ships losing their shields at once created a spectacular light show. "Shield breakers successful," Cooper reported. "All enemy vessels are vulnerable." Reed's next order was calm and clear. "All ships, weapons free. Show them how humanity fights." The human fleet attacked with everything they had. Rail guns fired depleted uranium rounds at near-light speed. Missile salvos targeted the aliens' now exposed weapon systems. Laser arrays struck with surgical precision. The Dominion ships tried to respond, but their rigid tactical doctrine failed them. They attempted to form their standard defensive formation, but without shields, they were vulnerable to attacks from directions they'd never considered. "Enemy flagship is launching fighters," Peters warned. "Activate point defense grid," Reed ordered. "Launch our fighters to intercept." Human fighters streaked out from their carrier ships. Unlike the large, heavily armed Dominion fighters, Earth's vessels were small and agile. They darted between the alien formations, causing chaos and disrupting their coordinated responses. "Sir, look." Cooper pointed to her display. Several Dominion ships were attempting to retreat. "Not today," Reed said firmly. Signal strike groups 3 and 4 cut off their escape route. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the mighty Dominion fleet at Pluto lay in ruins. 20 ships destroyed, 10 captured, and their base was under human control. "Casualties?" Reed asked quietly. 8 ships damaged, 3 destroyed, Cooper reported. "Crew casualties are minimal. The shield breakers worked better than we hoped." Reed nodded solemnly, remembering the crews of those 3 ships. Every human life was precious now, but they'd achieved something incredible today. "Send word to Deep Base Zero and Lunar Base Alpha," he ordered. "Pluto is ours. Begin Phase 2. As cleanup operations began, Reed recorded a message for the resistance leaders. The first strike was successful. The Dominion never saw us coming. Their arrogance made them vulnerable. They thought humans would either surrender or fight conventionally. They forgot that humanity's greatest strength is our ability to adapt, to think differently, to do the unexpected. Today, we prove that Earth isn't beaten. We're just getting started. He looked out at the wreckage of the Dominion fleet, knowing that news of this defeat would soon reach the Galactic Council. Let them come, he thought. Humanity was ready. Ambassador Diana Wells sat in her hidden broadcasting chamber, deep beneath the ruins of Geneva. The room was small but packed with advanced communication equipment, salvaged from Earth's old diplomatic mission to the Galactic Council. "Signal strength is good," reported her technical advisor, Mike Turner. "We're tapped into the Council's emergency broadcast network. Every species in the galaxy will see this." Wells straightened her jacket. Though humanity had been fighting from underground for months, she maintained a professional appearance. Today's broadcast would change everything. Broadcasting in 3, 2, 1. The red light came on, and Wells began speaking. "Members of the Galactic Council, I am Ambassador Diana Wells of Earth. You know us as the species that the Stellar Dominion claimed was too aggressive to join galactic civilization. Today, I present evidence of the truth." She nodded to Turner, who began transmitting the data they gathered. Video footage showed Dominion ships attacking Earth without provocation. Intercepted communications revealed the Dominion's real motives: fear of human technological advancement and their desire to seize Earth's resources. But that's not all. Wells continued. "We've discovered something even more disturbing." She played recordings of secret meetings between Dominion leaders and corrupt Council officials, showing how they'd manipulated the Council's votes and policies. In the Council's great chamber, thousands of light years away, chaos erupted. Representatives from 100 species watched in shock as their carefully maintained political order crumbled. The broadcast continued. "Look now at what the Dominion claimed was necessary to contain us." Turner switched to live footage from Pluto, showing the aftermath of humanity's counterattack. Captured Dominion ships floated lifeless in space, while human vessels efficiently secured the area. "The species you were told was too violent to join your civilization has just demonstrated remarkable restraint," Wells noted. "We've taken prisoners, preserved enemy vessels for study, and maintained the integrity of the Pluto base. Compare this to the Dominion's orbital bombardment of our civilian populations. On dozens of Council worlds, political leaders were already calling emergency meetings. The Dominion's representatives tried to speak, but they were shouted down by angry Council members." Wells leaned forward, her voice firm. "We understand that many of you were deceived. The Dominion presented themselves as peacekeepers, protectors of galactic civilization. But ask yourselves, who truly threatens peace? The species that waited to be attacked before fighting back, or the one that launched an unprovoked assault on a developing civilization?" Turner's displays showed reactions pouring in from across the galaxy. Many Council species were already denouncing the Dominion. Some were offering aid to Earth. Others were demanding immediate investigations into their own dealings with the Dominion. "Humanity doesn't seek revenge," Wells declared. "We seek justice. We demand a full investigation into the Dominion's actions, recognition of Earth's right to self-defense, and restoration of our sovereignty. We also request an emergency session of the Council to review all decisions influenced by Dominion corruption." She paused, letting her next words carry full weight. "Know this, humanity has more surprises waiting if diplomacy fails. We didn't want this war, but we will finish it if necessary. The choice is yours." The broadcast ended, but its effect was immediate. Within hours, 17 Council species had withdrawn from their defense pacts with the Dominion. 3 more had offered military support to Earth. In her chamber, Wells received the first official response from the Council's inner circle. Their message was brief. Emergency session granted. Full investigation authorized. Dominion voting rights suspended pending review. Wells smiled tiredly at Turner. "Send word to Colonel Thompson and Captain Reed. Phase 3 is ready to begin." As Turner transmitted the message, Wells studied the incoming reports. The galaxy's political landscape was transforming by the minute. The Dominion's carefully built web of influence was unraveling, and humanity's position grew stronger with each new revelation. The diplomatic war, it seemed, could be just as devastating as the military one. Admiral James Walker stood in the holographic command center of Lunar Base Alpha, surrounded by three-dimensional maps of Dominion space. After 6 months of hiding and careful planning, humanity was ready to launch its boldest attack yet. "All fleet commanders are online, sir," reported Lieutenant Brown, now wearing the insignia of a full commander. The holograms shifted, showing the faces of humanity's military leaders: Captain Reed from the Pluto base, Colonel Thompson from Deep Base Zero, and 3 other fleet commanders positioned across the solar system. "Operation Spearhead is go," Walker announced. "You all know your targets. The Dominion thinks they can regroup at their core worlds, but we're not going to give them that chance." The central display zoomed in on 3 star systems, the heart of Dominion territory. Years of diplomatic missions had given Earth detailed maps of these systems, and now that knowledge would be their weapon. "Captain Reed, status of the captured Dominion ships?" Walker asked. "Fully operational, sir," Reed responded. "Our crews have mastered their controls, and Dr. Nash's teams have upgraded them with our shield breaker technology. The Dominion won't expect their own ships to be used against them." Walker nodded. "Colonel Thompson, status of our new allies?" Thompson's hologram gestured, bringing up images of alien warships. "The Free Worlds Coalition is ready. They've provided us with 50 warships, crewed by species who've suffered under Dominion rule. They're eager to fight." "Good." Walker touched the display, highlighting specific targets. "This is how we end this war. 3 simultaneous strikes at their core worlds. The Dominion's entire military doctrine is based on defending from external threats. They've never faced an enemy that could hit multiple high-value targets at once." The plan was audacious. Human ships, disguised as regular merchant vessels, had already infiltrated the target systems. They carried compact shield breaker devices that would disable planetary defense systems when activated. "Commander Lewis, are your stealth teams in position?" A young woman's hologram nodded. "Yes, sir. My ships are hidden in the asteroid fields of all 3 systems. We're ready to knock out their early warning networks." Walker looked at each commander's face. "Humanity has one chance at this. If we fail, the Dominion will fortify these systems so heavily we'll never get another shot. But if we succeed, their military command structure will collapse." The display shifted again, showing the planned attack vectors. Human fleets would strike from multiple angles, using tactics that defied conventional space combat doctrine. While Dominion ships fought in rigid formations, humanity had developed fluid, adaptable strategies. "Remember," Walker continued, "the Dominion believes that their superior technology makes them invincible. They've never adapted their tactics because they've never needed to. That ends today." He highlighted specific targets on the map: their shipyards, their command centers, their supply lines. "We hit them all at once. But remember, we're not here for revenge. Minimal civilian casualties. We want to defeat them, not destroy them." The commanders nodded. Humanity had seen enough destruction. This was about ending the war, not perpetuating it. "Sir," Thompson interjected, word from Ambassador Wells. "The council session is scheduled for exactly when we predicted. The Dominion's leaders will all be gathered in one place." Walker smiled grimly. "Perfect. They'll be so busy defending their actions to the council, they won't realize what's happening until it's too late." He straightened, looking at each commander one last time. "Humanity didn't start this war, but we're going to end it. The Dominion thought they could break us. Instead, they forced us to become stronger, more united, more innovative than ever before." The Admiral touched a control, setting the operation timeline. "All fleets, synchronize your clocks. Operation Spearhead commences in 24 hours. Good hunting, and remember, Earth is counting on you." As the holograms faded, Walker looked out the window at Earth. Soon, very soon, his planet's skies would be free again, and the galaxy would learn a valuable lesson about underestimating humanity. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as Admiral James Walker took the speaker's podium. 1 month had passed since Operation Spearhead, and the galaxy's political landscape had changed forever. Behind him, the Council's massive display showed real-time images from across Dominion space, their military installations disabled, their fleets captured or destroyed, their leaders under arrest. The operation had succeeded beyond humanity's wildest expectations. Members of the Council, Walker began, his voice firm and clear. 3 days ago, the last Dominion fleet surrendered to Earth forces. The war they started is officially over. The chamber erupted in applause. Representatives from hundreds of species rose to their feet. Many of them had watched in amazement as humanity executed the most precisely coordinated military campaign in galactic history. But I'm not here to celebrate victory, Walker continued. I'm here to talk about the future. The display changed, showing Earth's cities being rebuilt. Human and alien construction crews worked side by side, using advanced technology shared by Earth's new allies. The Dominion thought they could break humanity's spirit. Instead, they taught us valuable lessons. Walker gestured to the alien ambassadors seated nearby. They taught us that we're not alone in facing oppression. That unity is stronger than fear. That innovation comes from necessity. Ambassador Wells stepped forward, carrying a data crystal. This contains Earth's proposal for the new Interstellar Defense Initiative, she announced. A cooperative force, drawn from all Council species, dedicated to preventing any single power from threatening galactic peace. The Council chamber buzzed with excitement. Several species that had suffered under Dominion rule were already signaling their support. Humanity didn't want war, Walker continued. We wanted to join the galactic community peacefully, but when forced to fight, we demonstrated something the Dominion never understood. True strength isn't about superior technology or overwhelming force. It's about adaptability, creativity, and the will to protect what matters. He touched a control, and the display showed Dr. Nash's team sharing the shield breaker technology with alien scientists. Earth pledges to share its defensive innovations with all peaceful Council members. We developed these technologies to protect ourselves, but they can protect everyone from future aggressors. In the audience, Colonel Thompson and Captain Reed watched proudly. Their forces had already begun helping smaller species upgrade their defensive capabilities. Some called humanity too aggressive, Walker acknowledged. But look at what we did with that aggression. When attacked, we didn't seek revenge. We sought justice. When we gained power, we didn't use it to dominate. We used it to liberate. When we won, we didn't destroy. We offered reconciliation. The chamber's mood was solemn now, as species from across the galaxy recognized the truth in his words. The Dominion's leaders will face trial for their crimes, Walker declared, but their people won't be punished for their leaders' mistakes. Instead, we invite them to join the new initiative, to help build something better than their empire ever was. Ambassador Wells stepped forward again. The Council votes today on Earth's membership and the establishment of the initiative. But regardless of the outcome, know this: humanity is ready to be part of the galactic community. Not as conquerors, not as victims, but as equals. The voting began immediately. The result was unprecedented. Unanimous approval. Earth would not only join the Council, but would co-chair the new Interstellar Defense Initiative. As the chamber erupted in celebration, Walker looked out at the assembled species. He thought about the long journey from that terrible day when Earth burned to this moment of triumph. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger, wiser, more united with the galaxy than ever before. Let the galaxy remember this, he said quietly. Earth will always defend itself, but we'd rather make friends than enemies, build rather than destroy, unite rather than divide. That's the true measure of human strength. The new era had begun, and humanity would help shape it.